Hey guys, welcome back, and I hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. I just recently hit a milestone with my gaming collection. Now, I've been gaming ever since I was a little kid with the original Game Boy and the Sega Genesis and the NES. Those were all the systems that I was introduced to as a kid growing up. And my milestone was just crossing over the 600 video game mark. Now, obviously I don't get sponsored by anything, but one app that I really want to give a shout out to is Game. They've really helped me keep track of my gaming collection and kind of break it down more and see the systems and the games, and it's really helped out in the past, I would say, 6 months. Out of my 600 total video games, about 58 or 59% of them are physical copies. Physical copies, to me, I have a better connection with. I have more of an emotional and a nostalgic connection with. So those are the ones I want to go through today. I want to take you through my physical game collection, show you some of them that mean a little more to me, that I've had for a long time, or that I had for a while, sold, and was able to finally get them back. So my collection is still growing. I'm still working on it. My next big goal is 1,000. I'm still maybe a year or two away from that, but once I hit the 1,000, I want to do another video just like this to see if anything has changed. But that's enough talking, let's get into it. So my video game collection is spread out among 19 total video game consoles, and I have them separated by PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo, and then others. The first one happens to be the PS1. I didn't have a PlayStation 1 growing up, but I did know somebody that did, so I would go over and play with them all the time. So when I was able to get my PS2, the first thing I did was buy some of these PS1 games. At the moment, the PS1 collection that I have is actually pretty small, but I'm still working on this one along with a couple of the other ones, and hopefully soon I can add to this collection. A couple of the games that really stand out to me would be Gran Turismo, the first one. I put a lot of hours into that growing up and just had a huge amount of fun playing that game with my friends. As well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, which was my very first original PlayStation game that I bought. Ironically, I actually bought it when I first got my PlayStation 2, but I went back and bought this one, and I've easily put well over 1,000 hours into that game. I have a huge connection with my PS2 because it was my actual first system that I got a summer job for, saved up for, and I remember it costing me $210 way back when. Still love this. It still powers up. It's probably one of my top 3 favorite systems, and some of the games I hold a big connection with. Just going through some of the games that really stand out to me the most with the PS2, Onimusha was my very first PS2 game, as well as Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus. I absolutely love that game. Huge fan of Vincent, and to see a game based on him was just amazing. God of War, that got me hooked into the series. You also have games like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Chain of Memories, not so much, but the original Kingdom Hearts series really got me hooked into it, as well as Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Gauntlet Dark Legacy, I would spend a huge amount of time with my cousin, and I have a lot of feelings towards that game as one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. So now getting into the PS3, I actually have 2 PS3 models. This is the first generation Slim. I got this one because I thought it actually looked nicer than the second generation Slim, which looks kind of, I think, kind of tacky and corny with the plastic. The first model I have is an 80 gigabyte fat model, and the issue with that one was that the Blu-ray drive stopped working. The rest of it works perfectly fine except for the Blu-ray drive, so I had to get a new one. So as far as the games go, the PS3 and the PS4 are 2 of my bigger selections of games right now. And as far as like holding favoritism over one game over the other, I really don't have that with the PS3, just because I got into so many different games. 3D Dot Game Heroes was a really fun game. Army of Two, really slow load times, but that was one of my first PS3 games. Obviously, the Kingdom Hearts series is a big one for me. Gran Turismo, Guitar Hero, Metallica. That's the only Guitar Hero I have, and the only reason I have it is because I'm a huge fan of Metallica. The God of War series is obviously a big one with me, with how many I have of those, especially God of War 3 and Ascension. I really like both of those. Then you have Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends is a really fun one. Dante's Inferno is a really good one, especially Skyrim. This was the first Skyrim that came out. I got it shortly after my birthday, and the map that actually came with it is it's a different texture than the normal paper maps that you got in the game. Now, the Mass Effect trilogy, I got the games from GameStop online, and what I don't like about shopping through GameStop online is that you don't know if you're actually going to get the case or not. So for this one, I had to go looking on Etsy for it, and I found someone who actually made a PS3 cover, and it's awesome. I absolutely love them. They got like the full artwork on the back, but then they actually put all the work into the inside. This is awesome. I actually feel this is better than the one they actually made. And then we get to the PS4 collection, and I have a lot to go through with this one. First of all, the figurines. Absolutely love the Sora figurine, Halloween Town, as well as the God of War. This one actually came with the PS3 Ascension game. I got the the collector's edition set, and it came with this, so this is really cool. And then with the Spyro Reignition trilogy, got that, as well as a Dragon Quest XI lanyard when I got the game for the PS4. So unlike the PS3 with the PS4, I actually have some games that really stand out more to me than a lot of the other ones. One of them is the remaster of Onimusha. I've always pronounced it Onimusha, but I believe it's Onimusha Warlords. This was originally a PS2 game. Absolutely love this one. It's a really short game. If you get into it, I think it's only like 3.5 hours. Obviously, with the PS4, I also had to get all of the Kingdom Hearts collections all the way going up to 3. I thought 3 was pretty good. Not as good as the first and second one. So I really play the first and second one a lot more than all the other ones. Knack is also a fun PS4 game. I believe it was a PS4 launch game. That's a really fun one, really cheap to pick up. Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite games on the PS4, as well as the new God of War, just because they were so good with the stories and the visualizations with those games. Both Far Cry 4 and Primal are two of my favorites. Absolutely love these two on the system, as well as Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was really good. Skyrim, obviously, I had to get the special edition for the PS4 when that came out. Put a lot of hours into that one, as well as Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age. That one was a, there were some bittersweet times with that one, but amazing storyline, awesome soundtrack, just a really good game overall. And now that we're done with the PlayStation collection, let's move over to the only Xbox I have, and that is the 360, all decked out in Nightmare Before Christmas. That's my favorite movie of all time. My mom got me that for Christmas one year, and I absolutely love it. A few of the games that stand out to me with this system were games like Dante's Inferno, which obviously you saw from before. I have that as well for the PS3. Deadpool was a very fun game to play. This is the system where I got really into the Far Cry series early on. As soon as I played it for the PS4, I wanted to get the other ones, and I found them first for the Xbox 360. So I picked up 2, 3, and Predator. Absolutely love those. 3 was, the storyline was okay, but overall I love all 3 of them. And then you get over into some of the Lego games, NCAA Football 10, which I just picked up. Absolutely love this system. So in my generation growing up, you were either a Genesis kid or a Nintendo kid. I was the Sega Genesis. I absolutely love the system. I grew up with it. Unfortunately, sometime down the road, I ended up selling it to get another system because I wasn't a collector back then. But I'm trying to go through and rebuild my collection that I had, and I'm doing an amazing job on it so far. I even picked up some really rare games. The only ones actually still missing cases so far would be Jurassic Park, Vector Man, which is a really fun game, love that one, and Street Fighter 2. This one I used to have with the box, but obviously way back when I sold it. Some of the ones that stick out to me the most are Aladdin. Absolutely love that game growing up. A little difficult, but still fun. Echo the Dolphin, The Tides of Time. I had this one growing up, but not the first one. Didn't know what I was doing back then, but still made it really fun. Maximum Carnage, I never had as a kid. I always saw it in magazines and heard people playing it, but I never got a chance to play it myself, and I found it for only 25 bucks in the case. Really excited about that one because that one sells for like 50. I believe my original console came with Sonic 1, and I believe, yep, this is the not for resale one, which I believe is the one that came with the game, I think, or it came with the console. I also have Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is my favorite of the series, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and then obviously gotta get some X-Men. Love this game. Never really finished it as a kid, but I'm going back and I'm having fun replaying all these and actually finishing them. So the Sega Genesis is definitely one of my all-time favorite systems. So far we moved from the 4 PlayStation ones. We had the 360 and the Sega Genesis, and then these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are all Nintendo based. Jumping right into the original Nintendo Entertainment System. I'm actually really proud of how quickly this collection of games has grown in the past, I don't know, year. I started with just a few, and now I have a decent amount. Some of the ones that kind of stick out to me the most would be like 1943, Battletoads, Gauntlet, which I'm still looking for the second one, Double Dragon, Metroid. Actually, both of the Contra games are in here as well. You gotta have Super Mario 1, 2, and 3, especially Duck Hunt. That one was, can't play it now, but it was fun back then. The actual complete boxes would be only Tetris, Chess Master, and The Legend of Zelda, but I made sure to also pick up The Adventure of Link, or The Legend of Zelda 2, as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So the Super Nintendo, to me, growing up, was the elusive console. This is the one that maybe I may have known one person to actually have, maybe two tops, and I may have played 3 games my entire life on the Super Nintendo. So actually getting into this one and playing a lot of the games was extremely fun, especially with some of the games I'm about to show you, such as Earthbound, all 3 of the Donkey Kong countries, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Gotta have Super Mario in there as well, Super Mario World. Super Metroid is probably one of my favorite games on that system as of right now, besides A Link to the Past. If I had to pick a couple games though that really meant the most to me, it would be Earthbound, mainly because of just how rare it is. It's my holy grail of all of gaming right now, as well as Donkey Kong Country 2, because I actually have it signed by the completionist, or Gerard Khalil. So back in the day, I used to have a Nintendo 64, this exact same model, but I ended up selling it, and unfortunately I lost some of those games, but I'm slowly getting them back as I complete my collection. Now, I really don't like having the boxes for these, or the completed boxes, just for the fact that if I'm going to be opening them, they're going to be broken a lot. So I don't have any actual complete games, they're just the cartridges. I am going to be getting the labels for the top of them, just so I can actually sort them out a little easier. But some of the ones that really stick out to me would be like the Ocarina of Time, you got Turok 2, Superman, is that a bad game? Star Fox 64, which was one of the ones I grew up with. Absolutely love that game. Super Mario 64 as well. That was a fun one. Pokemon Stadium. If you're a Pokemon fan, you gotta have at least 1 or 2 of the Pokemon Stadium games. And then you have Pokemon Snap, which was a fun game. And a couple of sports games. NHL 99 and NASCAR 99. Now the GameCube is where it's at. I used to put a lot of hours into this. I got the Platinum GameCube with the Game Boy Player attachment on the bottom, so I can play Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. I also have the Wavebird, which is one of my all-time favorite controllers. Absolutely love this thing. The only games that I have that don't actually have cases, courtesy of GameStop, thank you very much, which would be Animal Crossing and Mega Man Network Transmission. Still trying to track down the 2 cases for those. This system was a little different because I didn't have too many games for it growing up, but the games that I did, I put in a huge amount of playing time. Those would be games like Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Gale of Darkness is probably my favorite of the 2. Need for Speed Underground 2, NBA Street Volume 2. I actually had an injury my freshman year of high school and I was bedridden for a while. This one actually, NBA Street Volume 2 was my go-to game, and I played the crap out of that game. As well as a little bit of Harvest Moon, which I just recently picked up, and having a lot of fun with that one so far. Now for the Wii and the Wii U, I have the original Wii when it first came out, which is awesome because you can actually play GameCube games in it, which was great. But for the Wii U, I don't have it right now, but I'll show a quick picture of it. It is the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker combo. I actually got it used, but the system itself is really cool. I like that it doesn't like overpower the system with the decals on it. It just looks elegant and nice. Now the ones that stuck out to me with this system might not be the ones that you would think. A lot of people would probably think like, oh, Super Mario Bros. Or Super Paper Mario, Metroid, stuff like that, but it wasn't. It was actually like Mario Kart was a big one. Lego Batman, the video game, was another huge one for me. But one of the bigger ones that I recently just picked up in the past few years was Mario Super Sluggers. And this originally came out on the GameCube. And when Best Buy used to have their kiosk where you can actually play like a lot of the GameCube games, PlayStation 2 games, stuff like that, I would play the heck out of Mario Super Sluggers. Never actually able to buy it though. Now that I have it, I absolutely love it. I don't have a lot of games for the Wii U, but some of them that actually stick out the most would be Mario Kart 8 to me, as well as Super Mario 3D World and Super Smash Bros. Wii U. Getting into more of the Nintendo stuff here, you have the Switch. The Switch I don't really have a whole lot of games for, and it's probably my least favorite game cover art of all of the systems, just because I hate the red spines. You can't, just looking at the covers right now, you can't tell any of them apart, and I hate that. I want more like the PlayStation 1 or the Sega Genesis or any other console where it actually shows more art. A few of the games that I really like with this one would be like Kirby Star Allies, Skyrim is also one on here, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and Dragon Quest XI on this one as well, because this one actually had bonus content that the PS4 and PC didn't originally have. And last but not least, we have the handheld consoles, which is going to be anything from the original Game Boy all the way up to the 3DS. Got the Game Boy Color, got the Game Boy Advance, I believe it's called Glacier. That one I'm kind of in a rebuilding process because the back plate is actually cracked, so I'm looking into replacing that. I have a new 2DS XL, which between this and the Switch, this is all of my handheld gaming is just between those two systems. Got a couple 3DSs as well as a DS Lite, sorry. I really like the DS more than the 3DS just for the fact that you can actually play Game Boy Advance games on it as well, which is really nice. Now, as far as games go for these systems, Pokemon is a big heavy hitter for these, so I'm going to have a lot more Pokemon games than other ones. So for like the 3DS, Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, with a splatter of other games like Animal Crossing New Leaf, Fantasy Life, and Super Smash Bros. 3DS. Same thing with the DS, get Sonic, Nintendogs, Mario Kart, Super Mario Bros. But then you're going to have Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Platinum. And then popping this box open, we have the original Game Boy, which works after I switched out the circuit board in it. Got a couple of Game Boy SPs. The blue one is the first generation. The light blue one is the second generation. It actually has a brighter light. This one's going to be the same with like any other handheld where Pokemon's going to be making up the majority of the games. You got a mismatch of like say Mario, was it Super Mario Advance, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Is another one on here. Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. And then you got Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Probably Leaf Green. If I had to say which games were probably the ones that stuck on this system, it was Fire Red and Leaf Green. I could play those over and over and over again. I probably played those games a couple dozen times a piece, starting them over again. And then for the original Game Boy to Game Boy Color, I have 3 for the Game Boy Color. Well, 2 because one of them's a duplicate. I have 2 crystals. But then I also have Dark Duel Stories for Yu-Gi-Oh! This is one of my more favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. Not exactly like best graphic-wise or anything, but it's still a really fun game. Then I got a couple crystals, I got a couple silvers, 3 gold, yellow, red, blue. Those are all my Pokemon games. And then I have Tetris as well as Kirby's Dream Land 2. Those are probably 2 of my absolute favorites when it comes to the original Game Boy games other than Pokemon, just because those are ones that I didn't really have a whole lot growing up as a kid as far as like being able to spend money on a lot of games. So whatever games I did have, I played the crap out of. So Tetris and Kirby's Dream Land 2 were huge for me. So I said before I wasn't going to go through my PC collection because I don't really hold a whole lot of nostalgia or personal feelings towards digital-based games, but a few of the PC games that I really did enjoy growing up would be games like Zoo Tycoon. I absolutely love building games like that. SimCity was a colossal game for me way back when, and that branches off even into more games such as Diablo or Skyrim or Stardew Valley, as well as Minecraft. I absolutely love playing a lot of those games still to this day. But that's going to do it for my gaming collection as of right now. I just hit the milestone of 600. I am slowly creeping up on trying to reach 700 within the next year. We'll see if I can maybe even get past that and see how long it takes me to get to my next big milestone, which is that big 1,000 mark and filling this cabinet up even more than it already is. But I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and I really enjoyed showing you my gaming collection and showing you some of the ones that I grew up with and that hold a special connection to me. So what are yours? Let me know in the comment section down below on some of the games that you really enjoyed out of my collection, or some of the ones that you really enjoy out of your collection. I want to look over them. I love hearing what you guys have to say about them. So let me know down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you all next time in the next video. Take care and peace out.